It's another Sunday evening. Welcome to Scorecard here on Citi TV. It's been a very busy weekend and there's a lot to digest, especially based on happenings today. So Leicester City initially did away with Brendan Rodgers after a very long spell of suffering. It's been topsy-turvy for them. They thought that after Rodgers promised to deliver top four football, it was going to be the norm for them. Well, they struggled this season. They flirted with relegation. Eventually, they've decided that moving on from him is the best thing to do. Guess what? Our good friend Graham Potter, 5-year contract. We thought that Potter ball was a trusted process and that Dogboe and his crew were going to give Graham Potter the opportunity to fully manifest or at least get to the end of the season so he could have pre-season with his lads. But the results have been so bad that Chelsea now find themselves in the lower half of the table. Something had to give. In the end, Graham Potter has been fired. So there's a lot to talk about on the show today. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest and then we'll get into today's conversation. Welcome back here to Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Benjamin Nketia. The text and WhatsApp lines are on your screen there. Do send us your thoughts. I want to hear from Chelsea fans today. After the firing of Graham Potter, I know 95% or perhaps 99% of you wanted Graham Potter gone. Who do you want in as his replacement? Let me just find out from that in a bit. If there are any Spurs fans out there as well, tell me now that Antonio Conte is gone. Stellini is taking charge, but who do you want to see take charge of this team fully? Nagelsmann has been thrown into the mix. We don't know if that will happen, but don't forget that Paratici has also stepped down from his role as Tottenham sporting director. So there's a lot going on in that particular space. Let me introduce my good friends here, Susu Graham and Coach Christopher Nimley. Coach, it's good to have you on the show. Susu, it's good to have you on the show.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Blockbuster topic to begin. Your good friend, Potter Ball, I know you were rooting for him. I know you wanted them to trust the process, give him a chance to succeed. 2-0 against Aston Villa. Dogboe has seen enough.
Nketia, to be honest, I'm a bit down because today is one of my darkest days in football.
Oh.
Man United just got beat. Just at the time I was trying to take that in good faith and try and organize myself for the program. Then my best friend. Oh, Lord Jesus.
You mean your best friend?
My best friend.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
I mean, he just texted me, Charlie, I've been sacked. I said, what is that? It's a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
They need to believe
7 months. 7 months in.
Gotten rid of him. Look, I'm the first to accept that results has not been what it should be. Chelsea got spoiled the moment Abramovich bought that club. And from that time till now, there's a standard you have to keep.
Yeah.
The supporters...
You mean Chelsea fans have been spoiled?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been spoiled. The moment Abramovich bought that team, they are used to winning. And I think that is good for football. And that is good for the EPL. That is good for the Champions League. Because these are competitive games or competition that you want to be even more competitive.
Yeah.
By getting new teams. Chelsea they were never classified as one of the big guys in Europe until Abramovich came. So after the exit of Abramovich, Dogboe and his people bought the team. They cannot run away from that demand. The supporters demand that this team is always in and among the mix when it comes to battling for the title, battling for Champions League. They want to see Chelsea there. Graham Potter got the job, and the Chelsea people wouldn't let us listen. They will not give us, sound mind to look at the man and critically analyze him.
Yeah.
They gave him the Potter ball. You see proper football.
5-year contract.
5-year lucrative contract. I think it was £10 million a
He was
year.
the third highest paid manager in the world.
Third highest paid manager in the world.
How?
If you dish out such a contract to the man, you need to believe in the process. You need to trust The
I
mechanism.
think he's lucky he works in football, because in other industries, when you're sacked for non-performance, you don't get the rest of your contract. But
you understand?
He'll be fine.
Right now, as it stands, it looks like they are going to be throwing away close to £45 million
to pay him compensation.
I think it's closer to about maybe even 15, rather than, I think because Guardiola is about 16 million, he's about 15, 14 million.
Wow. So if they are to pay him off for the rest of the
closer
duration,
to 35 maybe.
40 million.
Million pounds. You throw that money away at him.
That's a lot of money.
Look, it's a huge money. And knowing these coaches, they signed the contract such that if you were to sack them,
you have to pay them. Yep.
The only time you stop paying them is when they now get a new job. Then you can stop paying. Because if Graham Potter were to decide that he's not going to work again for the next 5 years or 4.5 years, Chelsea will have to pay him for that period. But let's call a spade a spade. Did he deserve the sack? Kind of. Maybe yes, maybe no. As a coach here myself, I would have said that, look, there's no way they were going to get Champions League football. There's no way they're going to win any title. There's no way they'll win the Champions League. But if you look at what has gone on within the playing body, he needed some time to fix it. He needed some time to fix it. And I would have thought that they would have stuck with him to the end of the season, give him his own preseason, and get him to come and start afresh.
Just before you even go on, do you think the panic of not making Europe at all, even the Europa League or Conference League, is what pushed Chelsea to push the button?
I think they are not being smart enough. If they think they should be in the Europa, look, no big team like to play in the Europa or Conference
League.
I think it is rather a blessing in disguise.
You think it's Champions League or
nothing?
I think from the financial side, when you spend all that money and FFP is breathing down your neck, every dollar counts.
I understand, but
you need to at least have some of those things to say, okay, there's this income. I guess I'm thinking that that's part of it.
Even if you don't want to play in the competition, the financial rewards of getting in there should count for something.
Coaches don't like playing Thursday night football. Look, ask Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah,
it is beginning to have a toll
on
his team. So I rather prefer my team not play in the Conference League or the Europa Cup. So that you remember the season before Antonio Conte won them the league. I think Chelsea ended the season 10th or 11th. 10th.
Yep.
So when Antonio Conte came, they had no
competition.
No comment. They committed themselves to the league title, and they were by far the better team. So I would have thought that if the people, the Todd Bowley and his people, if they were actually following the history of this team, they could have gone back. Okay, there's a precedent. There's something we can refer to. Let's keep him in there. Let's encourage him. Look, do your best against Real Madrid. Do they think the new coach Bounce will get them past Real Madrid? I have said no, that will not happen. Because the players themselves still do not understand. When the team that Thomas Tuchel used to win the league, win the Champions League, how many of them are still around as we speak?
I would say Thiago Silva, Chilwell, Reece James, Kante,
just a few of them, a handful of them.
Havertz and Mason Mount. If I think about them,
and Mason Mount is on his way out.
Edward and Edward Mendy and Kepa are also there.
Yes, so
I think at least half of that team is gone.
Yeah, half of that team is gone. And even those who have left, those who are present now, what is
they're on their way down?
They are on the decline.
Yep.
So it's a new transitional process. You see, the thing is now being recycled for the future. Look at the players they've bought. There's Modric. There's the left-footed winger, the one with the Nigerian name. Madueke. You see, they bought new enterprising youngsters that needs time. Because of that, I think they should have kept the man in the job.
At least to the end of the season.
To the end of and allow him pre-season and give him the first 5 or 10 games of the first of his own season to see if then it didn't work out, then you get rid of him. But I'm sure most of the Chelsea fans listening to me or watching the program will say, what is Coach
talking about?
At the end of the day,
who
are you going to bring? That is going to
because that will be pressure for the new manager.
The new manager is not going to get them.
That's part of, I think, the Chelsea thing that even Todd Bowley said they won't do. they're not going to get into this dysfunctional
Yes.
method of constantly sacking. Because
manager.
it's always been the Chelsea way. Things are not wrong because we have good players. If we sack the manager, the new manager will come and figure something out. That's been the Chelsea way since Abramovich came in. And he said, no, we are building a project.
Yes.
We are going to build the Graham Potter Chelsea project. He's going to be our Arteta, our Pep, our
when
Klopp.
Pep came,
Yeah.
Pep was given his first preseason.
Yeah.
He plays fourth. And I'm sure if
That's
Pep
the
had
lowest
placed
Pep has
fifth,
ever placed in the league.
if Pep had not gotten Manchester City, they wouldn't have sacked him. Give the man time. Result-wise, it wasn't. I think he won out of 31 games. I think he won only 10 or 12 or so. I stand to be correct.
11.
11
Yeah.
out of 31 games. It is not a good turnover at all. It's a very, very bad turn in terms of the result. But if you understand football, you have to allow him to work. And for me, look, Brendan Rodgers still got a sack.
We'll get into that as
And
well.
This is a record.
Yeah.
This is the first time the Brendan Rodgers sacking
Was
this
the record.
was the record.
For
And
12.
then some few hours later, Chelsea have even bettered the record. Oh, Lord Jesus.
This is the first time in Premier League.
We've had 12.
So Rodgers was 12.
12.
So Potter is 13.
13 managers
sacking
fired in the season.
in the season.
Wow.
It's
It's
crazy
not-
because some teams are fired twice.
That's a different level of ruthlessness.
Yes.
I mean, look, Susu, let me just even
This
take your
Serie A
thoughts.
numbers.
Yeah. I mean, coach has spoken extensively about having to give Potter the preseason, give him the opportunity. Do you think that Chelsea looked at where they're falling now on the table and said, you know what, very soon if we don't take care, we could be in the relegation fight?
Oh, that was not going to happen.
It was not going to happen?
No.
Relegation
Based on the
was-
trajectory of results?
No. Relegation. I always say the relegation. You just have to be better than 3 teams.
But until they until they got beat by Aston Villa, I think they have won their last
they
three
were
games.
trotting along.
But they've dropped to what, 11th on the table?
Yeah,
11th.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think relegation was a concern, but I think for the Chelsea brand, as a club, knowing that you are a team that is supposed to be challenging for titles, 11th is not good enough.
Yeah.
There's no way to go about it. But like, I agree a lot with coach about the time and things. Coaching is not just coming. There are some coaches who can get the instant impact, but they are the rarity.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time they get the impact because maybe they have preseason. Look at even Tuchel when he won the Champions League. He had a team that had some functioning there, and he just came and fixed the defense. There's a reason he started playing the 3 at the back, because he realized that this team is too porous. Graham Potter is not there to fix the defense, because the defense, like I've said, is one of the better ones in the league.
Yep.
They are not conceding. He's
They just
trying
don't
to get
score
them
goals.
to score goals. He's trying to build an attacking identity, which is a lot harder to build than suddenly becoming solid at the back. You don't become a free-flowing attacking team overnight, because even Pep Guardiola, there's a reason why the first season they finished 4th, because the attacking identity he was trying to build, it took some time. You don't become a top attacking team overnight, because even in terms of defending, it's easier to coach your defensive structure first to become solid. But when you're trying to coach a team to be moving the ball, free-flowing, score a lot of goals, that takes longer to implement, because you need that kind of chemistry, relationship, and all of those things.
Yep.
And you also go back to the fact that they have so many new players.
So many players.
On top of the fact that he's trying to build.
He's working with more than 32 players at the training ground. That is practically impossible. Maximum 25, 26.
That's another issue.
Maximum
Right
20.
now,
And he
there's
said
so many
it,
players.
that I'm being made to work with over 32 players. 32.
Some of which he didn't ask for.
Yes, some of which he didn't ask for. The mood rage, and he never asked for them. They
And
were
some of them
imposed
to
on
have
him.
also. And look, I always say, if you're a man, you have to take 50% of the blame. But you watch that Aston Villa game. Aston Villa put 2 shots on target, for example.
Yeah.
You lose
Chelsea had
2-0.
over 20.
27 shots.
And he
didn't
mentioned it.
score
He
one.
said that the statistics showed that we were on the right path and we had a positive game.
And look, and then you can go back to that Mudryk one-on-one that he missed. What was the score at the time? 1-0,
Yeah.
0-0.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember.
That changes the complexion
changes
of the game.
If Mudryk does
At the
something
time, it
better,
was 0-0.
It was 0-0. That's what I'm talking about. Look, so there are these moments. It's like that sometimes. When you're the manager, at the end of the day, no one cares that Mudryk should have scored at that point. They just care the result is 2-0.
The only thing that for which he should be blamed,
There's no playing about
now
money.
that he's got more creativity, Joao Felix, and you've decided you won't play the one who is accustomed to scoring goals. You won't play Aubameyang. You get the sack. What is Kai Havertz doing in there as
Dacho Fofana also just chilling on the bench.
Look, when the game finished, the first thing I went to do is look at the XG because I just knew. And lo and behold, as usual, Aston Villa have an XG of 0.8. Yeah. They scored 2 goals. Chelsea have an XG of 1.9, 2.1. They didn't score a goal. Because it's just one of those things. But at the end of the day, I always say, you are the manager.
It's about results.
50% of whatever happens, you are responsible. Yes. It doesn't matter if you play the perfect game and the only goal you concede is that your defender passes it back and the keeper doesn't control
it. Look at how they conceded the first goal. Mm-hmm. That was the ball that Koulibaly would have dealt with all day. Kukurudu from nowhere just came and used his Jerry hair. Mm-hmm. You know they have a player with the Permi hair.
Let's get to the highlights of that particular game. Chelsea, Aston Villa, the game that nailed Graham Potter scoffing 2-0 at the bridge. I'm sure Todd Bowley was probably paranoid about the fans turning on him. I mean, you don't want the fans of a club on your back as a new owner, so something had to give. Let's check out the highlights of that game and let's see if we can make sense of the final game of Graham Potter as Chelsea boss. So John McGinn and Oli Watkins doing the job that eventually sent Graham Potter down. That's the lowdown on that particular one. Just before we get into our next highlight, let's briefly talk about Brendan Rodgers. He also reached a mutual agreement with Leicester to part ways with the club, meaning that Leicester, who are also in danger of actually being relegated, their relegation situation is more surreal than the Chelsea one. Let me just take your thoughts on that one. Rodgers gone as well. I think that this Rodgers decision is poor because they should have sacked him a long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. At this point, you have to stick it out. Because if you are going to sack him, you sack him maybe January. So that the new manager can come in, even suggest some players to kind of he wants to kind of the style he wants to play. Because when you are throwing a manager in, he has to use the players there. There's not even time to kind of implement his ideas. Look, they have a game on Wednesday, Tuesday. You know, and I think some of these sackings right now, the last international break should have been when these sackings were made, if you are going to sack. Because at least in the international break, the manager has a bit of a clear head to come in, kind of plan things. And right now, you are dropping into a rushing current, you know, because the games are coming thick. There's 10 games left. How many games?
And like the statistics say, when you sack a manager at this point in the season, there will be no improvement in your position.
Exactly. Like more often than not, by this stage, if you sack a manager, you get a 1 place improvement if you are lucky.
At best.
At best. I think this season will be different because of how close the table is. Look at West Ham, for example. West Ham won today and moved from 19th to 14th. Just like that.
The relegation battle is where the real action is.
This season, even that 2 extra points you get from the new manager will be definitely worth more than 1 place this season. They were 2, 3, maybe even 4.
Yeah.
So this season is one of the few seasons where you can get value for it, but you also need to give the manager the best chance to succeed. And for me, whoever is taking that Leicester job, it's an unenviable task because 10 games left, you are 19. At least you have some players you can work with. There's Kelly and Nacho, James Madison.
People say Graham Potter should take the Leicester job.
No, in fact, I hear the people at Leicester have given him a call and they want to find out what his plans are. If he doesn't want to go for a sabbatical and he still want to continue, I think they're going to look at him.
I think Graham Potter shouldn't rush back. I think he should just wait until the end of the season, see how the cards fall, and then look for the next job.
No, I have a different. I think.
What if he ends up taking the job and ends up taking Leicester down?
No, I think if the Leicester City job is available for him, he should. Because that is his type of job. That's more his stature. It's his type of job, and he will not be under any pressure. And he could. You see, take it or leave it. I think Leicester will not get relegated, no matter how porous they are defensively.
Because they can score.
Because they can score. They've got good players who create. Brendan Rodgers sacking, like you said, was long overdue.
Yeah.
He's been so stubborn in his approach. He's so unpragmatic. He's so unpragmatic coach.
That look, you can't win the league by conceding 50
goals. Exactly.
The guy was conceding 50 goals Liverpool team,
in that Liverpool setup.
He thought he would win
that Liverpool setup was good enough to win them the league.
Yeah.
But because of the manager, it costs them the league. Because
he never changes his approach.
He never changes his approach. And if you are that type of manager, then clearly you cannot be on the up. You have 1 or 2 good seasons the next season. So he led them to fifth twice.
Then 8th.
Then 8th. And now then look at where they are. So you can clearly see
steady decline.
So, look, for me, it was long overdue. And if Porter, who is my good friend, is available and he doesn't want a sabbatical, I think he should take the job.
I disagree. I think every smart manager should avoid Premier League jobs until next season. Because right now, the way things are very tense, coming into a situation like that, if you do well, it's great for your reputation. But if you don't, it's very easy for it to go wrong.
I don't think any manager will be blamed at this stage if you take up a job and the team get relegated. Obviously, you are being brought in there to see whether you can perform a miracle. So if the miracle doesn't happen, their fate has already been drawn. But if you are to perform the miracle, you leapfrog.
Two sides to a coin.
You always forget, perception. It's very...
look at Scott Parker. Got fired by Bournemouth, went to Club Brugge, got fired twice in one season.
Is it this Scott Parker way of doing things? At least he left to another league.
Well.
But this is the league that Porter clearly understands.
That would be three teams for him in one calendar year.
Yeah, he left Brighton, Chelsea fired him. He's at Leicester. Look, I think Leicester, with the players they've got, if Porter were to take up the job, they'll stay up.
No, I agree with Coach, but I think for his own reputation and his own emotional health, I think it's better he... No, these things, they are traumatic. He needs to relax.
I get it. I get what
he wants to continue being paid by Chelsea.
I mean,
the money is good.
To be honest, if I was him, I probably would never work again in my life.
I would take the money and relax. But let's take a quick break here on Scorecard. When we come back, we'll show Liverpool fans why they probably should be taking the route of Chelsea and Leicester City. But they are not, because they were given an absolute whacking by Manchester City this weekend. Stay with us here on Scorecard. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Let me read a few of your tweets coming in before we get to our next item on the show. Manasseh Mayor 1 says that hashtag Scorecard. As a Spurs fan, I trust Stellini to lead us to a top 4 finish, then bring Pochettino back to finish what we started. So somebody wants Poch to come back to Spurs.
I like the romantic aspect.
Yeah, very interesting thoughts there. Somebody has some J. Odichie, I think he's Nigerian. He says Klopp next, unfortunately. Francis Skinunu says, good evening, Ben. I'm a Chelsea fan today. I feel like Chelsea have won the Champions League simply because Potter has been sacked. He says that we Chelsea fans need Tuchel back. That's all. Hey, Man U too. Well, Tuchel was winning against Dortmund, so you cannot have him back clearly. This one here is from Al-Hassan Adam. Says that Liverpool's manager should also follow. Either resign or be sacked. My wish. Okay. This one here also says that waiting for Sheikh's reaction according to the when I posted about Graham Potter being fired. This one also says that waiting patiently for Lipu Mama on the verdict on Klopp. So a lot going on in the managerial sacking race. Let's get to...
Speaking about managers, I think another thing about Potter is I don't think the fans ever warmed up to him. I think from the day he was appointed, the fans never believed in him because there was always this, he's inexperienced. Why didn't we get Zidane? Why didn't we get this? So,
true.
I don't know. I think that was another part of it.
He had a very uphill task trying to win the fan base.
So who do you think they should go for? There's Zizou, there's Nagelsmann, there's Pochettino, there's Luis Enrique.
But Zizou has said he doesn't want to coach in the Premier League.
Okay, so
Poch, he said that for him, a big part of his coaching is communicating with the players, his relationship with them, and he doesn't speak very good English. So for him, he feels coming to England when he doesn't have that language, he and the players will not be able to form the relationship he feels is necessary for his coaching.
Which is key. I understand him better.
Interesting thoughts there. We'll see who replaces these managers, but let's get to the highlights at the Etihad. Manchester City completely took Liverpool to the cleanest 4-1. Liverpool now have an uphill task of making it into the top 4. Let's check out the highlights on this one. So a big win for Manchester City as far as trying to keep their title hopes alive is concerned. Big blow for Liverpool as far as trying to get into a Champions League slot is concerned. Coach, Chelsea have sacked Graham Potter after all the money and all the trust. What is Liverpool waiting for? I mean, should they also be thinking that, you know what, maybe we should let Klopp go? It shouldn't be a bad fallout, but we should mutually agree and just part ways.
Potter, after 7 months, sacked. Club has been there for 7 years.
Yep.
Sacking him shouldn't be a problem. In fact, we did a game on radio. A day before, during his pre-match interview or conference, he said something that completely blew my mind. As a manager, he said he wasn't sure of the type of Liverpool that will show up.
Yep.
And I was like, wow. If you're unsure of your team, you have no business being there.
Means you've lost touch with the team now.
Completely. You have no business being there as a coach. If I'm the owner, I sack him after that statement, quick, without any delay. Now the team comes up against Man City.
Yep.
And we spoke about the lack of cohesion or the lack of coordination in whatever they've done throughout the season. Liverpool's problem has been there throughout the season.
Even from the,
He's
from
done
the latter
nothing
part of last
season. He's done absolutely nothing to fix it. That is why I believe, I agree with all the Liverpool fans who are saying, sack Jurgen Klopp. It is hard, but I think in the interest of this team or in the club, that would have been the best decision. Now, let's go to the football. We spoke about the absence of Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
And we highlighted the importance of the Argentine boy. That unlike Haaland, he will not win the ball in the air. But he will give you a better off-the-ball movement. He will link up play better. He will get himself involved like the Aguero would do. And then begin to draw players. Let's say so. Okay? Draw players
very mobile player, very slippery.
He reminds me of Chicharito Hernandez.
Very slippery.
But this one is outside of the box, more skillful than Hernandez was. Now, when the game starts, Liverpool showed no conviction, absolutely no conviction in their attacking play. And I was looking at myself, come on, man.
Basically,
you know these guys.
Play on the counter the whole game.
Even that could be the game plan due to the current form of the team. But even when they had a chance to counter, they showed no belief in that. And to me, that was shocking. So the only meaningful counter attack they had two. One resulted in a goal. The other one, you want to credit at him in the Man City shirt. Yesterday was Jack Grealish's best ever game I've seen him play. He was
everywhere.
In everything they were doing.
Everywhere.
At the time he made that interception, it was 1-0. If he hadn't intercepted that Salah pass to Jota, it would have been 2-0.
He came from behind
He chased Mohamed Salah all along to make sure he worked for the team.
If you watch City, he does things like that very often. He works very hard.
He's the coach. It's about the coaching. In fact, that is one other thing that I'm hoping Ten Hag begins to instill in what? Marcus Rashford. We'll come to that game. But let's stay with the Liverpool one. So again, the Liverpool setup was just, players were drawn out of position with cheeky ease. Look at Van Dijk. In that first goal, he saw that Mahrez had the beating of Robertson. And Mahrez, truth be told, will not take Robertson to the bar line. Because if he does that, Robertson wins that all day.
Mahrez is the captain guy.
Like we saw of Gideon Mensah and the Angola player. So anytime he decides to come on Robertson right foot, Robertson will struggle. So one of the centre-back will have to step in. That's what I describe as the team's way of dealing with the problem. It's a problem that you cannot fix because of the strength
of your fullback,
of the winger as against that of your fullback. And when he came in to do the tackle, I said he was shy of
zonal marking,
trying to see what he was going to do. And the guy was progressing with the ball. Come in there very hard, block the ball, or try and commit the foul. Because at that moment, the Liverpool backline was completely shapeless. No shape, no defensive shape, no defensive cover. And look at how on earth was Jack Grealish left all alone in the box for him to just roll the pass
back to Alvarez.
Alvarez to slot in. And then look, the icing on the cake, the one that actually pierced me as a head coach, was the second goal they conceded. Less than 2 minutes into the second half.
47 seconds, actually.
There you go. Less than a minute into the second half. You are conceding such a goal from nothing. Absolutely
I thought
nothing.
that was a really poor ball because there were several instances where they could have dealt with the ball before it got into the danger zone.
Look, the coaching was so bad that you saw that whatever Man City was doing had Gundogan involved. I would have man-marked him. I would have gotten somebody, look, stay in between, stay within 2 or 3 to 5 yards of him. Yeah. Get him to pass the ball backwards. If anybody is going to make the pass, force him to give the ball to Rodri or John Stones to make the forward pass. They will not impact the game in that sense. They are used to winning the ball and playing the short 5, 10, maximum 20 yards pass. But for Gundogan should have to be left in the manner and for him to go almost 45, 60 yards. Yeah. Look at the pass. Straight to Mahrez. And once the Liverpool had gone for a hard line, Jurgen Klopp should be fired. Look, the Liverpool we all got used to in 6.5 years was the team, one, that played a hard line because they have forward guys who will not even trigger the press, but the rest will anticipate better and block the channels of the open. And therefore, anytime they press the ball high up the pitch, Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino, Mohamed Salah, Fabinho, Henderson, look, you could see the coordination, the anticipation. They were all on the same page like that. So they could deal with it. But this time around, your players up front, they are not pressing. But you have all your defenders on the center line. Doing what there? It's suicidal. And as a coach, clearly, and when Liverpool considered the second goal, when the camera was put on him, as if he didn't know, come on, this has been systemic throughout the season. It's been occurring week after week. You've done nothing to do. It's good. If the players are not capable of playing a high-pressing game, sit deep and use the counter-attacking of Mohamed Salah and then the Jota and those people. But look, I don't think they'll make Champions League. If you look at the results of United today, if Liverpool had won, then they would have given themselves enough chance to get into that Champions League store. They are playing Chelsea on Tuesday.
They have Arsenal.
It's at the bridge,
Yes.
There's a Chelsea game and then there's an Arsenal game as well. So they have back-to-back big games to come. Games.
And at the end of the day, you need to go in these games with the right mentality. Maybe the Arsenal game is at Anfield. We know what they are or what they tend to look like, what they usually show up in big games at Anfield. So that game, Arsenal will have to be very careful about because I will not be surprised if Liverpool shows up and beat Arsenal at Anfield. But
they've only lost 1 league game at Anfield this season, but I think they've only won 3 games away.
That's their away form has been precious. Very wretched. I mean, just quick thoughts on that. 4-1.
Look, coach has really said it all, that the structure of the team was poor.
Very bad.
And for me, the first goal highlighted it completely. And the reason I say this is, if you're a smart team, you have 1 goal up. You see 2 centre-backs there. Let one attacker just, kind of deal with the 2 centre-backs. Salah asks Fabinho to push up onto Rodri, rather than him or Gakpo going down onto Rodri.
Yes.
The moment that happens, the ball moves, and then the ball gets to Mahrez. And by the time the ball gets to Mahrez, what has happened? They've played through your press, and now it's 4-on-3. And the moment it was 4-on-3, you will favor City to score. And that's the problem. Every time they try to press, something dangerous happened. The second goal is exactly the same thing. They try to press. They try to press, and then boom, the ball is there, and Mahrez is, and basically it's 2-on-1 because Van Dijk couldn't catch up. It was basically a 2-on-1 situation. Yes. Robertson is having to stop Mahrez getting the ball to De Bruyne.
And Alisson did so well, but
and that's my point. If you look at their goals, it was a systemic failure. I don't like there were individual failures within the goal, but the failure was of a complete system failure, which is why I said that first press. If you are Salah, you are a goal up. Why are you so aggressive in your press that you want to press man to man with the centre backs? One of you should move on to Rodri and let the centre backs have the ball and do what they want, because they are not the danger men. You press like that, and they beat the press. Now, and that's why Robertson had to fly out to try and stop the pass. So when Robertson flew out to stop that, he wasn't quick enough. There was too much space for him to cover, again, because of the lack of coordination. The ball gets to Mahrez. Now, Mahrez is in Mahrez is in acres of space. And Van Dijk now has to come across. So everyone is now rushing to cover up for the mistake that happened before. And the goal came. So for me, I know people are talking about Trent and him not moving into the right position and stuff. But I think at that point, you are confused because there's 3 of you and there's 4 of them. Someone is going to have to try and defend 2 players. And if you're the person trying to defend 2 players, you will look stupid. Because the way the ball was moving across, he was trying to position himself in such a way that he could think about. But this is Man City.
He took the best decision. He allowed the pass to go wide to Grealish, which is what everything, because if it doesn't block the middle channel, it would have been a true pass through.
Exactly.
So let's give them that edge to see whether we can organize and deal with it.
But you see, you look, when it doesn't work, you look stupid.
Exactly.
And that's why I keep saying that. Sometimes saying, like analyzing and taking a screenshot of Alexander Arnold and saying, does this guy know what he's doing? No. Look at where the move started from. The press was and we've said this before on this show that they went from the best pressing team in the league, first in tackles, one in the final
5 West in the league.
They are basically in the
bottom half of the league.
And you are still playing a high line. That's criminal. And that is the reason why I can agree with Coach that Klopp should be sacked. I think it's very difficult to sack someone like Klopp, like he said, because of the winning experience. But something like this, even me, I don't have any coaching badges. I can see that if you can't press, you don't play a high line. This is basic.
I happen to debate somebody who said Liverpool and the club has been dominant. They've not been dominant.
No,
how many league titles have
they have not?
They've won 1 league
title
look at 7 years.
Finishing with 90+ points and
finishing
dominant. 1 point under City and saying
that's
not dominance.
That is not dominance.
Honestly.
I would say that they've played some of the best football we've seen.
Yes,
but you see, unfortunately for them, there's been one team that's been playing even better. It's one of those things that if you look at their results,
great, but your greatness has not been good enough.
Over that period, it's been that's probably one of the best spells of any Premier League team in history, if we are being honest. That number of points won over those seasons. Let's not.
But it's not been good enough.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
If you even look at Mohamed Salah's scoring records in the 4 or 5 year spell, it is deserving of a Premier League title every season, but you end up not winning the title.
But funny enough, there seems to be, and usually the top scorer doesn't win the league titles. I think the last person to win top scorer in the league title was Robin van Persie. So Erling Haaland is trying to do something that's not been done for a while. But
did Diego Costa not win a top scorer? No. He didn't. Oh, interesting.
I mean, remember Harry Kane? That's, I think, around the time Harry Kane started scoring,
doing his things. Let's get to the highlights of a team that won their game. Sticking to the theory that we have propounded on this show, when they meet the small teams, it's easy money for them. Arsenal Football Club were up against Leeds United. They were missing a couple of their players, but it didn't really matter. They look like they have their eyes firmly on the title, and that's what it was in this game. 4-1, easy win for Arsenal. When Granit Xhaka scores a header, you know it's been a good day for Arsenal. Easy money for them, coach.
This is what you want to see of them. Look, they have been the most consistent team
this season. Yeah.
Don't take anything away from them. They've played what, in my view, the best football this season by far. Not even Man City have been this consistent. Not even Man City has been this beautiful to watch on the eye. But Arsenal. Thankfully, they are out of every other competition. This is the one they have to win. They have a lead that they cannot throw away. As it stands, there's an 8-point lead of Man City. They've played a game more. Man City surely will make it a 5-point lead. At the end of this month, Arsenal will go to the Etihad. I think when they get to the Etihad, Man City will beat them. Now they'll be left with 2 points with, I think, 4 or 5 games to go. That is where
Arsenal have a really rugged run.
That is where
they have Liverpool to play in there. I think they have Chelsea in there as well. They have Manchester City. They have Newcastle
to play. That is where I think it will come down to. But as for the football, the free movement, the Thomas Partey factor will definitely get them to beat any team in this league apart from Man City. So I want to see them in that game at the end of the month against Man City. If they can go to the Etihad and get a result, the league title is done. I have said I want them to win the league title because of my own personal gains. But if you put that aside, the football has been beautiful.
It has.
The tactical orientation, the awareness, the movement of the ball movement.
They've shown a lot of character as well.
Look, the character have been superly good. We see Thomas Partey boss these games, not because of anything extraordinary. He's a good passer of the ball. But watch Martinelli, Trossard, if it is in Ketia, Jesus, Saka, Xhaka, all of them, when Partey picks up the ball, they are moving. Off the ball movement, creating options for him. That is what he thrives on. Okay? So this Mikel Arteta machine is heated. There's no worn out parts. The screws are very much in place and they will go the distance. For Leeds United, this is not the sort of game they were expected to go and win. No, they won't win this. You repeat this 10 times, Arsenal beat them 10 times at the Emirates. So everything points to the fact that once Man City had thrown the challenge to Arsenal earlier on in the day, they needed to respond. You can do 4-1, we can equally do 4-1. So let's keep the 8-point gap and let's see how it materializes. But look, I've been so impressed with Mikel. I remember when he was given the job, and I said that Arsenal should give him a chance and let him prove that
he can do it.
Indeed gone through the ranks, he's been properly nurtured, and he can make a statement of intent. And look, if he wins the league, I think in recent times, he'll be the most inexperienced manager.
I don't think the Premier League has ever been won by someone who is their first head coaching job. I don't think it's ever happened.
There you go.
I think, I don't think it's ever happened. That your
and this
first
level
head
of consistency
job,
has been crazy. They've been top on the table for as long as I can remember.
Because he's not even coached a B. Even Pep, you can argue that even though Pep was inexperienced, he had at least coached Barca B as a head coach for even 1 year.
But in the case of Arteta,
he was thrown into the mix.
This is his
first head coaching job. Interesting. Let me read a few messages and then we'll take our second break here. Maruf from Kaduna says, Chelsea sacking Potter is the best news because Potter is just a Maxwell Konedu with a British passport. What? This one says, high scorecard. A coach that plays Loftus-Cheek and Kokorea in the defense line while having central defenders on the bench doesn't require any chance or time. Conte Jula from the Gambia. So somebody's getting to us all the way from the Gambia. He says that he was unhappy that Badiashile was on the bench while Kokorea...
of course, he will make a better...
Kokorea and Loftus-Cheek were playing at right wing back and what's not. This one here says, good evening, Ben. Please ask my Man United colleague, Coach Namely, how he sees his Sancho man. As for me, his style of play doesn't fit in with Man United. He's also a lazy player, big flop. I'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that United game in a bit. This one says, good evening to you guys out there. Please, the best coach for my team now is Julian Nagelsmann, former Bayern Munich coach. If care is not taken, we are going to be relegated from Desmond Agbe. I think you're talking about Chelsea here. Luciano Spalletti should be the next coach for Chelsea. Luda from Kaswa with that one. This one here is from Kwesi Anfield from Wager. It says, no matter what, we are not going to sack Klopp. In Klopp, we trust. We go bounce back in grand style and still make the top four. You never walk alone, you say. Solomon watching from Koforidia says that I'm happy Potter ball has come to an end. Mutala Tanko says, this evening, I'm not that good. I'm getting Sheikh Jassim Ni Abba and Shaban Ahmed Asaman Kesi, who never scored. I'm not even sure exactly the input of the message. This one here is from Ebenezer from Suhum. Says, I have been having nightmares watching Chelsea matches. Now I can watch in peace. Sheikh Ni Abba can do whatever he wants. His friend is gone. This says, good evening. Nagelsmann is what we need. Hey, Charlie. This one says, please, I'm very happy. After the fasting for sacking Potter, I will fast another 30 days for just sacking Potter again. Alhamdulillah. This one is from Abdullah from East Legon, Ghana Link. Charlie, the guy says he will do an extra Ramadan.
An extra 30 days. God will bless you.
I can't believe this. This one here says, hi guys, good evening. Matthew from Afianya. Man U losing, Eden Hazard assist, Potter getting sacked. Oh, what a beautiful day. Nana Kofi, a free from Mampo Equiapem, says, I'm the happiest man today because at long last, Potter is no longer our coach. Okay, greetings to all Chelsea fans and greetings to coach also. This one here from Duke from Amasaman says, I'm happy Potter has been sacked. Long overdue. Results are just not good enough. The job is too big for him. This one says, it's Potter. Potter has been sacked. He's an average coach who has been given a 5-year contract. So a lot of Kili Kwame from Adenta says, oh, finally, the God of Chelsea has answered our prayers. I'll be happy to see Zidane or Luis Enrique handling these crop of players. Today, we are drinking champagne. Cheers to all Chelsea fans. I can't believe that you are drinking champagne over somebody's bad spell. But let's take a break here on the show. When we come back, we'll get into that Man United Newcastle game. A lot of interesting fallouts from that game. United fans don't seem to be happy. It looks like United have not won anything proper since their Carabao Cup win over Newcastle. So there's a lot to break down as far as United is concerned. Then we'll get into some other leagues as well. Stay with us here on the show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Let's get to that game between Newcastle United and Manchester United. Newcastle, after losing out in the Carabao Cup, obviously would have vengeance on their mind. Man United have been a little shaky since that Carabao Cup victory. They lost by 2-0 in this game. Coach, is that a result that should worry United generally? I mean, on the fallout of the game, individual player performances, tactical execution, is there any aspect where United fans should look at that game that was played and say, wow, these are worrying times?
No, I don't think so. You can take a very good United team to Newcastle and they will get beat. I have seen a Man United team having the likes of Andy Cole, Eric Cantona, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, and walloped 5-0 at St. Jesus Park before. I've seen that.
Yeah.
United went into today's game, take it or leave it. When Casemiro is not in this team, the team is never the same. I have said, and I'll continue to stress that. Last season was the worst Premier League appearance or season for Manchester United. Man United were so poor last season because of the fact that they didn't have a midfield.
Yeah.
Scott McTominay goes to Scotland. He scores 2 beautiful goals of, I think, 3-2 or 4-2.
He scored two back-to-back braces.
Back-to-back braces, 4-2. And then all of a sudden, people think
he has arrived.
He's not the real deal. He's only in this team because there's no Eriksen, there's no Casemiro. That's why I say people shouldn't worry. And it is an away game, very difficult away game.
Yeah.
Casemiro will come back after the Everton. Man United next 2 games are at Old Trafford. Yeah. So no matter how bad they perform, the fans will see them beyond the finish line and will get the result, like we saw them do in recent times. So when Casemiro and Eriksen comes back, they will go back to having midfielders who can control football games for them. Not busy for nothing, running all over the place and not coordinating the defense to the attacking play. Newcastle needed to make a statement. They knew that if they beat United, they go third. Yep. United comes fourth. They knew that the Carabao Cup lost. This was an opportunity for them to what? Revenge. Yeah. They knew they were the home team, and they knew that once they get in and amongst the Man United players, their supporters will come to support them, and they will get a perfect result. By far, they were the better team. I will not sit here and say they didn't deserve to win. They deserve to win because, but for David De Gea,
they should have scored more.
They would have beaten United by 4-0.
The XG was actually about 4, so coach is absolutely right.
They would have beaten United about 4-0. David De Gea pulled up 3 world-class saves. And for me, that header that he saved from Joelinton and the header from Isaac sums up Man United performance today. Martinez and Varane had no shield in front of them. United went into the midfield having 2 number 8s. So they were going like that instead of doing this.
Is this not problematic for the team that if Casemiro is not in the mix, there is suddenly a very big gulf between him and the replacements that come in for him.
It is a problem that has been created for years. And imagine a Casemiro, Frankie de Jong combo. United will be competing for the league title. I have no doubt about that. If United had gotten Frankie de Jong, Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, they'll be the team closest to Arsenal. No man said.
That's a very spicy midfield you are trying to assemble.
That will compete with any midfield.
Actually, I don't even think Eriksen would be getting many minutes if Frankie de Jong was around.
Yeah, if Frankie de Jong would have that would have meant that you have proper depth. So as and when Eriksen is introduced, the level will not drop in terms of controlling football games. Man United have failed to control games since the injury to Eriksen. But because of the Casemiro factor, the team didn't actually feel that. Now that Casemiro is not there, you are beginning to see, because today Bruno, who should be playing as a number 10, virtually dropped deep because Tomini couldn't pass the ball. Look, there was a Man United best attacking player today was Anthony.
He was hooked from the game and he was upset.
Yes, I think on that score I completely disagree with Erik ten Hag, because he was the one only United
he was causing a lot of trouble for Dan
a lot of trouble for Dan Burn. And the refereeing too was shocking today. Dan Burn was very brutal in his tackle. And he never got booked. Normally, if you whack the same player down 1, 2, 3,
you get a caution for it.
You get a caution to slow you down and play the game. But the referee allowed that. You see, Newcastle themselves, they are a physical team. So if you allow them to be very physical, you don't try and book them for them to play the game, they will overpower and they will dominate the opponent. But having said that, look, by far, they were the better team, and you want to credit them. The reason why I'm saying that, no panic. United will definitely make top 4. Casemiro will be back. Eriksen has started training. They will all be back in a week. I think maximum, Casemiro will miss
2 to 3 weeks.
He will miss the Brentford game, and then he will miss the Everton. All those games are at Old Trafford. You expect them to be able to win those, and then he comes back when there are about 8 more games to go. He guarantees you 5 wins out of that, and United will make the Champions League slot.
Let's get the highlights of that particular game. Newcastle United showing dominance at home, beating Man United by 2-0. So huge results for Newcastle there in their bid to make Champions League this season. Just quick thoughts.
Yeah, so tactically, by the time United conceded that free kick that led to the second goal, Erik ten Hag has substituted his 2 centre-backs. When he was asked, he said he needed to go a back 3 and to have more attacking players in the team. So he pulled off Varane, he pulled off Martinez. So United had no proper headers of the ball, because Varane, Vegas, and McTominay are the only 3 players with decent height. Now, on that free kick again, Anthony Martial was marking the first post. Behind him, there was Bruno. Behind Bruno, there was Rashford. Behind Rashford, there was the Newcastle striker. And then behind the Newcastle striker, there was Lindelof. It was a 4v1 situation. Of all the United players, the best header of the ball is Lindelof, because he is the defender. He is accustomed to know how to deal with such situations. So one would have thought that in defending, common sense, I repeat, common sense would tell you that you don't go and stand behind Callum Wilson. Eventually, you can only get to the ball when Callum Wilson does not get, or when he misses the ball. That is when you, as a defender, stand a chance. Rather, you should be very close to him next to, because all the other Newcastle players were playing on the edge of the 18-yard box, ready to run, because they knew that they were leading at the time. So they didn't want to commit in case United were to get the counter-attack. So Lindelof, this is another reason why he should be sold. He should be sold simply because you are the best header of the ball as at that moment. And it's a 4v1 situation. Allow Martial and Co to do their zonal marking, first ball, but you should be neck to neck, sideways, controlling the movement of Callum Wilson and competing with him in the air. There was nothing of that. Rather, look at the goal. Callum was heading the ball, and he was behind Callum, also swinging his head. To do what? You are heading the air. Ten Hag would take certain decisions. Today's game highlighted the reason why this manager needs to be backed in the transfer window. And the best way to do so is for the Glazers to go. They are overstaying. They've overstayed their reign in this club. When the financial statement was released, this team is owing close to £900 million.
Yep.
Sell the team to the Qatarians. Sheikh Ni Abba Artani Mubarak. I'm going to sit on the board of United. My position is unquestioned. We are buying the team and clearing the debt immediately. Then Ten Hag, £500 million. Go and spend and come and compete.
Interesting.
Just before we talk about the man, speaking about the debt, the worst part about this debt is it's not the club generating the debt. It's the Glazers using United's revenue to pay their debt. So what they do is basically they kind of move their finances, even their takeover. They take money that Man United has made. They borrowed money to buy the club, and the club is basically paying for its own purchase to its owners. It's a strange situation.
It's a strange, and we have somebody who says, "I'll buy the club and pay the debt, clear the debt."
Honestly,
then
I feel
there's
like
another
rich people,
man
they
saying,
get away with
"I
too
go and
much
borrow and
because
come and pay."
it's only rich people can take a loan to buy something, and there's something is paying for the loan.
Sheikh Jassim Artani.
But let's get to the game and the serious issue. That was a very poor performance from United. I think they were dominated from minutes 1 to 90. There was not really much you see from the game that you can see is a positive. You can only say, okay, there's no Casemiro, that's why they didn't play like that. But that in itself is a bit of a problem because the fact that there's no backup for Casemiro, there's no other profile of a number 6 in the squad is a huge problem. It needs to be addressed.
It will be addressed.
Hopefully, over the summer, they'll do that.
They will address
this
that.
also tells us something about United. And we've been saying this since Michael Carrick. They've not bought a top number 6. They brought matches at the end of his career. So even though he was able to do some 1-2,
he was a spent force.
He was on the decline. And the lack of squad building has been what has hurt Man U the most in the last few years. Yes. Because I look at a lot of players who've come to Man U and not necessarily performed.
Waste.
And you think about if the midfield was proper, what some players could do. You think of Paul Pogba.
He's a lazy player. Forget about him.
You think of I'm just saying that you think
Forget
you
about
could
him.
definitely see some improvements.
Other players. He was a very lazy player, not focused on his job. Lazy player.
Paul Pogba has been restarting his career for like the last 2 years.
He's been very I'm just saying that you feel like when you're maximizing talent, you have to make the best situation possible. And not having a number 6 is criminal. Look at every top team. And the number 6.
That we agree with. Every United fan has complained of the lack of number 6. So Ten Hag came, he sees that he's brought in Casemiro. Yeah. But now you in the team, we can't have one number 6.
Yeah. You need to
at least 3.
And that's what I'm saying. If you look at the way the team played today, it was so bad.
McTominay.
And that's the thing. I don't even think Newcastle were as direct and dangerous as they could be. Because there were a lot of times Alan Saint-Maximin didn't even, we spoke about it, he didn't attack Diego Dalot like
the way he should.
He kind of was 1-2, but he did. Look at if he had decided to go at Dalot. I don't think Dalot.
We just saw the highlight. You saw McTominay, isn't it? When I said, look at him.
Just walking.
He was walking. You, as one of the DMs of the team, even as a number 8, when the ball is ahead of you, when you are in front of the ball instead of being behind the ball, you don't walk.
Atrocious football for McTominay there. Let's get to the Italian Serie A and let's get into back-to-back highlights. Inter Milan, Fiorentina. Inter Milan losing that game. Juventus winning by a slim margin against Chievo Verona. Let's check out the highlights of that game. Hellas Verona, and then we'll get into some discussions as well. So Juventus doing the most with their situation. Remember, they've been docked 15 points. That situation is still being contested. So some way, somehow, they might still get an overturn of that decision.
April 19th.
They might get some respite in
it's
between.
April 19th. Their appeal will be heard. So I think we'll get a decision on whether the 15 points will stand, whether it will be changed. I think
or it will be given back to them.
It can be increased.
But look, I doubt if they will get it, because if you look at what is even happening to the people who caused those deductions,
Paratici is being forced to step down.
By his ban is also. You see, the thing is, the legal part of it is what the issue is, because they investigated this issue last year and they were cleared. and they were being investigated for another issue, and the evidence picked up in the new case was brought to reopen the old case, and that's where the minus 15 has come from. And the legal argument is that if you close the case, you can't reopen a closed case based on the new evidence in another case. This is actually what the argument
very
is.
interesting technique.
So
This is
it's not
football,
even...
This is in football matters is not dealt with
legally
tough like that.
Yeah.
Who will deal with it as football matters? If you
And
commit
I'll
a
be-
football
but
crime,
I'll be very
years
honest.
ago, they'll come back and they'll punish you.
But I'll be very honest. I think they'll still make top 4 despite the minus 15.
They've been
'Cause look,
they've been brilliant.
Look, if you look at the way they are picking up points, if we went for the minus 15, they'd be comfortably second. They'd probably be about 7 or 8 points ahead of Lazio, who are currently second.
The fact is,
It's just unfortunate, but look,
they
I
have
think they
to
can beat
beat
it.
those teams ahead of them in the top 4.
They are coming for them.
And I'm not sure they'll beat them.
Oh, coach, I think they are coming. I think they've been the most consistent team this season outside Napoli. And that's what I'm saying. The fact is, it's off the field issues that have them out of the Champions League place.
Yeah.
So for me, I still think there's a very good chance they just sneak in. So, and considering the way this thing is going legally, if you really want to be in the top 4, I would advise you finish in the top 3, because if you finish 4th and there's some sort of appeal, and let's say the minus 15 is slashed to minus 7, minus 6, and they are boosted those points, you will probably drop out of 4th, the way it's looking. So for the teams in that situation, it's the 3rd place.
They need to cushion themselves with more points.
Inter like this, they've dropped points. Very, very careless of them to drop points to Fiorentina. Roma have won this weekend. Lazio won this weekend. Milan won this weekend. So this weekend, Inter Milan have really
Still,
messed
after
up.
all these, I think Napoli are still 15 points clear.
Napoli are clear. Nothing is touching them at
Well,
this
no,
point.
I think right now it will have cut
it
down
is
to 13.
71.
Yeah.
71 before
Yeah,
today.
that's
yeah,
what the Lazio 2-1 today. So I think it's cut down to 10.
Lazio 55.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I
I
think
checked,
But something in
Lazio
that.
is
no, it's
55,
look,
they are 71.
The issue is not if, but when they win
win,
the
yeah,
league.
I think
they are
I
15
think
points
it's just been a delay in the inevitable. They lost 4-0 to AC Milan. I have to mention it, of course. They lost 4-0 to AC Milan, ahead of their key Champions League game. I think it's a good psychological
It's a
win.
huge result, actually.
But-
Let's get to the German Bundesliga, where Thomas Tuchel, a.k.a. Toto Alote, coach's other really good friend, was doing a job when Graham Potter was losing his game in England. So he took over. First game in charge was against Borussia Dortmund, sworn enemy. Remember, Tuchel is a former Borussia Dortmund manager himself. So very interesting dynamics into this game. Let's just check out how that game broke down. Very interesting goals scored in this game there. But Tuchel, first game in charge against his former side, puts them to the sword.
No surprise, because he's that quality of a coach. He walks in, and quickly you have to accept whatever he gives to you, or he's presenting, or else you find yourself out of the door. And for me, he's a manager, if only he can check his temperament in the way he tends to deal with his owners.
Yeah.
Because this Bayern job, if he can calm down,
Yeah.
he will use this team to do wonders. With his appointment, I'm telling you for a fact that Pep Guardiola will not be a happy man. Because in that Champions League,
Yeah.
this is not his Chelsea team.
Nope.
The team he used to beat Guardiola in the final
Yeah.
comes nowhere closer to this Bayern Munich.
This has proper quality.
This has
proper
proper
depth.
quality, depth in every area. And I can't wait. In fact, that is the game I want to watch in the Champions. I can't wait to see how they will match up to each other. Pep and Toto Alote. And then the players of Bayern against those of Man City. It's going to be a beautiful game. Coming to this game, the form of Dortmund, very scintillating. They've been on very good form.
Just put the brakes on them.
They've lost one game this year. That was to Chelsea. That was the only game they've lost.
They hadn't lost any game in the
league.
In the league. But of course, you want to look at, if you are the coach of Dortmund, you want to look at the goalkeeper again. Come on, man.
And he's been such a great goalkeeper for
Dortmund. I think he just came back from injury.
Yeah.
I think he came back from injury
in all the games.
This is not the game. This is your most important game.
I think that first mistake just set the tone.
Yes, because this is the most important. This game, you don't want to give anything away on a silver. Let the team earn the right to score the goal. You don't give it to them.
I honestly thought that if not to diminish Thomas Tuchel, but I think Nagelsmann would have won this game as well, to be honest.
Of
I think
it's a typical Bayern Munich Dortmund game.
I think the real concern was that they felt that he wasn't going to win the Champions League. And I think it was, and I'm glad coach mentioned Tuchel's temperament. I think Nagelsmann's temperament made it easier for them to pull their trigger. I think already the people on the board had reservations about his manner and his demeanor, because there was an incident where he kind of called I think the press a pack of animals, or was it the ref? There was something.
And he had a clash with Sadio Mane as well.
Yeah, he has.
Mane said he wasn't playing. He questioned the manager about not playing. And in the next game, the manager puts him in, and the players question Nagelsmann's cojones as a manager, his control as a manager.
I find that interesting because in another situation, they call that, he's talked to the players' concerns. It's management. I think it's perception, honestly. And I think that's where Tuchel needs to manage himself, the temperament, because I think Nagelsmann's biggest undoing was his temperament. It wasn't the results, because if you look at the results,
they haven't been
they are perfect in the Champions League. They are doing well in the league. They had this game. They could have won this game, gone top. So I don't think it was Nagelsmann's results. It was their temperament. So Tuchel really has to watch that. Let's
finish off the evening with some boxing. And Ghana's Isaac Dogboe, he had a chance to return to the apex of his weight class by beating Robesi Ramirez. Robesi Ramirez, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, believed that this was also his chance to annex that vacant title. In the end, he was too tough for Dogboe, too quick. He landed a lot of counter punches. Isaac Dogboe did not stand a chance. Let's get to the highlights of this one, and then we'll come back and briefly close it out. So Isaac Dogboe, after working hard to work his way into title contention, must work his way back up again because he was beaten. Unanimous decision victory for Robesi Ramirez. Coach just snapped us. Dogboe lost. Richie Comey lost just a week or two ago.
As for Comey, don't mention his name. Shapeless boxer. Don't mention his name. He should retire. What is that? Let's talk about Isaac Dogboe.
Talk about Dogboe.
I didn't watch the fight. But I remember when I woke up this morning, that was the first thing I went to look at after my quiet time. And when I saw that he had lost, I said, come on, man. Yeah. So I went after the highlight. But look, it was a perfect decision. The guy dominated in that manner. And I was asking myself, didn't they know that he was a southpaw? And didn't they know that he's a counter puncher?
Yep.
Because the manner in which he counter-punched.
Yeah. He counter-punched his way to victory in this game.
Out. Yep. He was just waiting for
Dogboe threw a lot of punches, didn't land a lot.
Then the counter, and I was asking myself, come on, man. If something is well noted for, and the thing, again, when it matters most, repeated itself round after round, you don't question the boxer. You question the handlers of the boxer, the coaches of the boxer. What was the game plan? Was the game plan because the lack of movement in Isaac Dogboe, if you're playing against a counter puncher, your head should move a lot. You can't just do that and keep your head there.
Yeah.
You come for
just present your head to be punched the whole night.
Come on, man.
Just quick thoughts on that. Look, let me just even finish it out. I just think that Isaac Dogboe, I feel like the early years spent training under his dad have set him back, because I can tell a boxer who wants to refine his technique in the ring, but you can tell it's like you can think of what you want to do, but you don't have the ability to do it because it's just too late in your development phase to be doing some of those things. And his defense was poor all throughout, head movement not good enough. I just wish him well. He probably is not in a good mental place right now. He's trying to probably just ramp it up and try and see if he can get back onto the canvas and fight his way back up again. But it's a long road, but thank you guys for joining us on the show today. Thank you, Susu. Thank you, Coach. It's been an absolute pleasure coming your way with Scorecard. For our viewers who are in the Gambia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone and whatnot, do share your messages with us as much as you can on the show. We really appreciate it. For those of us down here in Ghana, you know how we do it. Same time next week, Scorecard. We'll be back on your screens.